Okay, I gotta get this review done and over with since it's gonna be late by the time you seeing this. So yeah, and I've been debating whether I do this video or not, but I just decided and fuck it. And let's do a review of well, not Takeover, but NXT Vengeance Day 2023. So, yeah, the NXT, it's been a long ass while since I talked about them. Probably for reasons, since their shows for like a long while, like months ago, were not very good. Like the product was just not that good in my opinion. Recently, it's been getting a slightly bit better, but not that much. And I think with this show, NXT Vengeance Day, I think if it proved one thing with this special event, PLE, paper, whatever it's called, if this show prove is that they need to do more shows on the road rather than a Capital Wrestling Center performance or whatever you want to call. They need to do shows like this on crowds like this because yeah, that for watching that show, it made a huge difference to compare to some even the normal NXT shows nowadays. I mean, and the crowd was pretty good for the most part throughout that night, I will say. It's like, they were in mostly to the end. They were into the first one, which I'm going to talk about. But yeah, NXT needs to do special events more often on the road because it helped this show immensely. And that's partially why I'm doing this review in the first place. So, yeah. So let's talk about the first match, which was for the NXT North American Championship. It's Wesley, the reigning champion, defending against Dominic Dijak, no longer T-Bar. Like seriously, that retribution was just bugging the crap out of me. Like it wasn't so much he was doing the retribution, but kept some elements of that persona was just. And that name T-Raw was just let's just remove that minor fact, focusing on that Jack. He's been doing okay, I guess. Yeah, I don't really follow much of the play, but for what I've heard, he's okay. Like the character was okay, but the match itself was easily the best match of the show, and like when the crowd helped a lot, like when the crowd being into this really felt like a takeover match, like an old takeover match, they had some crazy ass dive, crazy ass near falls that made you think Iron could have won at any point in the match, but they just continue to keep on going. Dijak is a tough son of a bitch for going into without that broken middle finger, which you could see images of, and oh that pretty much disgusted me. Even just watching the first time, like, ugh, that was nasty. Like Like his finger was all the way down, like all the way down here. It was, oh, but props to him for going through and finish the match. Like because like yeah, that had to be tough as fucking hell. But yeah, he did his thing. And Wesley, I can say he's pretty much had got over being as a single star North American champion. So his reign as the champion seems to be a success story so far. So this was a great match, an exciting opener, and the finish was like kind of confusing with the damage that Dijak's teammate coming out and Dijak now wanting to hit the cue, but like they wanted to attack Wesley, so why not distract referee something like that? But whatever. So Wesley took advantage of it and takes the victory, and still North American champion Wesley in a great match. Like it was pretty great. So the next match is the NXT Women's Tag Team titles. Follow Emily and Kiana James with the going up against the defending champions Katana Shins and Kaden Carter. This match was just okay. It was kind of just there for me. I don't know why. Like this is a little slide, a bit of a slide win, but like I don't know what is the point of those NXT Women's Tag Team titles. Like I don't know, but they just could have had like Damage Control defending the tag titles against either one of them, and it would have resulted probably the same way. But yeah, like it limit what you could do with NXT and main roster, and really limits the women's tag division by doing it. So I don't know why, but Katana Chance and Kenny Carter have made respectable champions, and they've pretty much become one of the only legit teams on the main roster. No, excuse me, on NXT. But yeah, I think they could make a good women's tag team on the main roster when they eventually call up. And they might call us sooner because yeah, they dropped the title. So Fiona Hanley and Kiana James on the new women's tag team champion. So I guess we will see where it goes with the tag team. That it's like it's apparently a team face and heel dynamic, which is kind of unusual, but at the same time, they have done this before with a few teams where it's the babyface heel dynamic. Kane Daniel Bryan, like as when they started out his Team Hell No, it had that face and heel dynamic before they bonded together. So I think that's cool. Probably we see with Funnel Henley and Kiana James later down the line. So yeah, they're a new champ, but the match was just it was okay. It was probably the worst match of the night by far. It was just there. So yeah. The next match is 2 out of 3 falls. It's Carmelo Hayes versus Apollo Crews. And like this is one of the matches I was actually looking forward to it. Because like Apollo Crews, for what I've seen, has been really stepping up since rejoining NXT. Seems like he's been rejuvenating his career slightly. And Carmelo Hayes, when he said he is him, I mean, he is him. Like, he's that damn good. He's becoming that. So, I was really looking forward to it. And, like, to me, it was just good. Not great. It was just good. And, like I said, I think earlier, I don't really follow much of the process, so probably I was not terribly invested, but I expected more a little bit, especially for I seen of those guys. But yeah, they had a good match, so no real complaints. This was a 2 out of 3 falls match, so yeah. So Carmelo Hayes actually won 2-0 against Apollo Crews. So, which I guess I like it in a sense because pretty much in a good majority of those 2 out of 3 falls matches, it's always 1-1 till there's one fall to the finish. It usually happens every time. Or whether the face wins the first time by DQ, and then and the heel wins the second fall, which means the third fall is in play, or even reverse, you will see heels win by DQ, so if they got the advantage, and then the face will win the second fall. It usually comes down like that most of the time. So I kinda like they're a little different. And if you try to build off Carmelo Hayes for the NXT title shot, spoiler for the end of the vid, you kind of have to make it a little bit stronger. So him 2-0 against Apollo Crews made sense logistically. So yeah, so also during the match, so the match itself was just good. I don't think it got to the great level that it could have been, but it was a solid match. So during the match, Trick Willie was helping Carmelo stay out. It's rather good majority of the match, and then and then at the end, out comes Devontae Kato, formerly known as Commander Aziz, who was the former manager of the Apollo on the main roster. So not a little surprised, but I gotta admit, like, they telegraphed the hell out of Devontae Kato, Dabu that's his name, of Dabu Kato being the hell out of Apollo, even before the match even ended. Like, they kind of telegraphed with him slowly walking to the ring and only just a touch with, but not really focusing on what's happening in the ring. And he lets Carmelo Hayes pretty much wins it. And so by the time he was hugging, I was like, yo, like, by the time he was hugging, you know what was about to happen. Even shouting like, this dude's gonna fucking turn on Apollo, and he did. Of course, the Dabu KO attacks Apollo Crews and lays him out. But yeah, so they're about to do this feud, and does anybody really care? I mean, honestly, like, who really cares about this feud coming up? Is it just me? Like, I don't see any appeal, in my opinion, for doing this feud. Just my personal perspective. So, yeah, I don't really see it. So, yeah, it's gonna take a long while to actually care about, to make me care about Apollo Crews, the Battle Kato feud. So, yeah, the tag team title multi-man match was the New Day defending against Gallows, Pretty Daily and Chaser Unlimited. I think that's the thing. Yeah, Gallows, Pretty Daily, and Chase University. That's the tag team. Like I said, I don't really follow much of NXT, so don't know much of that tag team, but I do know Gallows and Pretty Daily, and Chase University challenged the New Day for the tag team titles, and I didn't watch most of the match, but for her, it was a pretty fun match. I mean, multi-man matches can get a little cluttered, but they made it work with a tag team match. And Gallows pins the New Day, which is probably the right call, since I kind of knew that the New Day's venture into NXT was only going to have a short shelf life out of it. Like, they won the tag team titles in December, they dropped it here, and seeing how this show was in Charlotte and in front of a bigger crowd, you kind of know why they put the belts on the New Day so they got extra tickets. So, yeah, but yeah, it was only going to have a short shelf life out of it. So then taking the pin made the most sense. And Gallows won, so they're on the new tag team champions, which that's cool. So it was a pretty good match. Now we down to the two main events, basically. For the NXT Women's title triple threat, we were Sam Perez defending against JC Jane and Gigi Dolan in the triple threat. And it was a very basic triple threat. It was fine, it was decent, but it told a basic story of how the heel team taking event tried to that the babyface was at a disadvantage against two heels. Two of them basically be attacking, so before the heels will eventually start clashing. So they did their job, and I gotta admit, I was kind of laughing when the crowd was chanting, "Let's go Rising" and "Let's go Gigi Dolly," but there was no chance for JC. Now I wonder why Toxic Attraction split up on the following NXT. You wonder why, jeez. But they did their thing, and the finish came with Gigi Dolly went to the table and Wasser hit the pop rods from JC I think it was from the top rope on JC to pick up the win. So yeah. So Wasser Perez is still the women's champion. Like I said, I think in my Royal Rumble review that she should be a pillar for that women's division for the next decade. She's pretty much the future of that division. And when Toxic Attraction splitting up about that, I think Mandy Rose getting fired prematurely. Yeah, I kinda say it because she dropped the title and then got fired immediately because of her supposedly new picks were. Which, by the way, were they even that nude to warrant such a thing as getting fired? Just saying. But but with Mandy Rose being fired, I think it was pretty much writing on the wall for the Toxic Attraction concept. And with the crowd being in favor of GG more than JC, I think that made it pretty easy for them to want to split them up. So yeah. So this was a fine triple threat for the women's side. So now on to the main event for the NXT Championship is Braun Breaker, the champion, defending against Grayson Waller in a steel cage. So they did a match on TV that ended with some weird rope break thing. It wasn't. It wasn't. It was like a rope break thing where I think it was Grayson was about to do top rope, and then the rope kind of collapsed. In the rope, the top rope like kind of collapsed a thing. So they did a non-finish, so that pretty much led to this match. And this felt like an old school cage match for like back in the late 80s, early 90s, where they didn't really do a lot of stuff. Only the difference in the late 80s, early 90s steel cage is that you can escape the cage to win. This here, it was only had to be paid for a submission. So yeah, so this felt like a regular cage match. They didn't do much outside the box, but it was good. I think it was just done to give these guys the experience of a main event environment with such a venue and crowd like this. So for what it's worth, they made it good. So Braun Breaker retains the NXT title. And at the end, you got Braun Breaker holding up the title, and then Carmelo Hayes walking to the stage, showing that he's next in line for that title. So it looks like it's gonna be Braun Breaker versus Carmelo Hayes next for the NXT title at probably NXT's 10 to 11, which is WrestleMania weekend, which is probably the best and biggest NXT match that they can do at this point. So that should be one hell of a match. Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes. So yeah, so that's Vengeance Day in the books, and it was a pretty fine, good show. Like, this show demonstrate that they need to get the hell out of the Capitol Wrestling Center Performance Center and do more shows like this in front of venues and crowds like this, because it added a lot to that show and to the product on NXT, which is mediocre at best, to say the least. So hopefully we do more shows like this on NXT, please. So yeah, that's it for my review. Like this video if you haven't. Subscribe here. Tell me what you think about NXT Vengeance Day in the comment section below. And as always, I'm Jason Marinius, and I approve these measures.